You want reality TV? Follow us as we show you the side of police chase videos you normally don't see. Wild arrest, kamikaze crooks, and some of the most intense moments caught on video. Next on Hot Pursuit. Phoenix, Arizona. A robbery suspect is fleeing the scene of a crime in a dump truck. This old truck might not be capable of high speeds. But as this chopper cam footage clearly shows, with the right driver behind the wheel, it's big enough to cause quite a bit of damage. Amazingly, the fugitive is completely unharmed by the horrific crash. And a few moments after the accident, he climbs out of the wreck and attempts to flee on foot.
Have a foot pursuit with PD, southbound, police clothing.
But thanks to the intervention of a concerned citizen, the runaway doesn't get very far. Cops close in on the scuffle and take over the situation. But while this crazy trucker comes away from the incident relatively unharmed, the other people involved aren't so lucky. Both the vehicle and the people inside it are going to need some serious attention. If there's one thing even dumber than racing away from police, it's getting into a fist fight with the cops, especially when there's only one of you and a bunch of them. In this case, our suspect is outnumbered 5-1. Maybe he should have thought about the odds beforehand. Now that the suspect's in cuffs and pinned under half a dozen trained law enforcement officers, he's going to have a nice long time to consider where his plan went wrong. Over to Idaho now, where this white van has been stopped for driving over the speed limit. The officer at the scene is about to go through standard routine, but when he asks for the suspect's driver's license, the man flashes a very different form of ID, a police badge.
Where's the badge out of?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
It turns out that the suspect is a cop himself, Larry of the Las Vegas Police. Tonight, though, Larry has had a few too many. But he seems to think his status as a law enforcer might get him off the hook. The attending officer, however, isn't quite sure what to do and radios the station.
But this is Las Vegas.
This is a Nevada police officer, so I'm calling for backup on this.
Cop or no cop, Larry finds himself on the receiving end of those infamous sobriety tests. At first, he seems more than willing to comply.
Whatever you think is right, is right. I'm not going to argue with you, whatever you want.
Okay, well, you see, the thing is, I can smell the odor of an alcoholic beverage each time you speak.
There's no doubt about it.
You walk and you're staggering as you walk.
There's no doubt about it.
Okay, well, I'm just explaining to you, this is what I have to do, okay?
I've done it for 20 years. I know exactly what you got to do, man. So.
But it turns out that Larry is no ordinary cop.
And I apologize. I am with Turf Affairs in Las Vegas Metro, and I feel very embarrassed.
You were in Internal Affairs, you said?
Internal Affairs are the watchdogs of the police department, so it's pretty safe to say that they're not very popular with the average cop on the beat. And as an officer with Internal Affairs, it's clear that Larry doesn't want a drunk driving charge anywhere near his police record. But the fact remains that Larry is so drunk, he can't even take the sobriety tests, let alone pass them.
I just keep trying, right?
Keep trying.
And he's willing to admit it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you right now, you have got me.
So the cuffs go on.
Mr. Spinoza,
I know.
place your other hand on the back of your head.
And the officer takes Larry away. In the back of the squad car, he continues to try and reason with the arresting officer.
Obviously, you know I'm drunk. I know I'm drunk, and I mean...
But this cop isn't budging, especially in front of an Internal Affairs officer.
You got to understand, In the state of Idaho, we take driving under the influence very serious. I have a job to do. Every bit of this is on videotape.
Larry's job with internal affairs means he's obviously dealt with crooked cops before, which could explain why he makes a risky and desperate attempt to buy his own freedom.
Can I just give you $2,000 and, you know, I don't need to do
The bribe doesn't work, however, and now Larry's just landed himself in even hotter water. This off-duty internal affairs officer is usually the one busting the cops' chops. But with speeding, drunk driving, and attempting to bribe an officer on his record, this visitor from Vegas may have just kissed his career goodbye.
I am embarrassed about this, okay?
Next on Hot Pursuit, a minor medical situation causes a major medical emergency. And a pickup truck goes for a spin.
Well, look, here he goes again. He's doing an dirty U-turn, sliding across.
One of the best ways to prevent a suspect from escaping is by putting something in his way. In this clip, we can see that the officer in the squad car here has decided to try and put himself in the way. Carefully keeping one eye on his rearview mirror, the officer and the suspect engage in a dangerous high-speed dance. So whenever he veers to the right, the officer goes right too. And when the man goes to the left, the officer follows suit. The second police vehicle, in this case the one we're viewing the action from, brings up the rear, making sure that the fleeing car is trapped. Cops refer to this as the box maneuver. But at exceptionally high speeds, the box maneuver is extremely dangerous and can result in a nasty accident. In this case, it obviously got the job done. When police see a car weaving all over the road, there's a good chance the guy behind the wheel is drunk. But there are times when alcohol isn't to blame. In Florida, a policeman has been trying desperately to catch up with the white sedan in front before the driver does any serious damage. But he's just too late. This time, however, it's not the fault of some reckless drunk. In fact, the poor elderly woman driving this car is on medication. A medication which unfortunately caused her to fall asleep behind the wheel. Most traffic stops are pretty routine, but there's always a chance things could get ugly. As a cop, it's always better to play it safe in order to try and discourage any resistance you might encounter.
Can I see your driver's license, Miss? I'm calling for the...
But some people can't even answer a simple question without getting rowdy.
Put your hands on the car. Put your hands on the car.
Some police are trained in martial arts, specifically for situations like this.
I see it. Put your hands out. All right, put it, drop it. All right, drop it. I'm dropping it. All right, please. Get some help.
Others just do what they can.
Oh, my mommy. Get out. All right.
The key is to get the suspect down on the ground, keep him there, and then radio for backup.
I need help. All right.
In the event that backup takes a while to reach the scene, you can always enlist the assistance of the general public.
Put your hand behind your back. Grab it.
Just make sure that you can keep your civilian aid from flying off the handle.
They called for help a while ago.
At this point, it's easy to cuff the suspect.
Hold on, you're pulling the wrong way.
And when backup arrives, they'll take care of the rest. It's obvious this officer's had enough, and he's not surprised that the suspect has too.
No, that.
While heading northbound on a routine traffic assignment, this cop hears another report over the radio. And changes lanes to join the chase. Despite the hazardous conditions, the trooper weaves his way through the traffic to find out what all the fuss is about. At the head of the long line of police vehicles, the cop finally finds out what's going on. He watches as a fellow officer leans out of his window to take shots at the suspect's tires with his rifle.
We want to pull up behind him in a clear spot. We're going to take his tires out with a shotgun.
Shot fired. Shot fired.
Unfortunately, the officer missed his mark. So he sticks his head out the window again and gives it another try, but he misses again. As the chase gets caught up in heavy traffic, the pace slows down, but now it's too dangerous to use the shotgun, so he holds his rifle in place, waiting for an opportunity. Over the bridge, the traffic clears again. The cop takes 3 last shots at the suspect's tires, but still misses. So the officer in this vehicle decides it's time to try a more head-on approach. He plays a deadly game of bumper cars with the suspect, first knocking him into a colleague's cruiser, and then ramming him off the road altogether. When police tried to shoot the suspect's tires, he decided to shoot back.
Shot fired. Shot fired.
So the cops decided it was finally time to just put him in his place. Coming up, cops catch a drug runner on the run, and this truck takes a tumble.
There he goes again. He's doing another U-turn.
The guy in the green pickup truck ahead must be seriously ill. Either that or he's just planning on using the 3 crates of cold medicine he's just purchased to help him cook up a big batch of methamphetamine. The Indiana police have put their money on the latter. It certainly explains why he won't stop for the cops, and why he's speeding down the highway with 4 cruisers on his tail. Better make that 3. One officer is down as his vehicle goes out of control, but we'll switch to another officer's squad car to continue the pursuit. The speed demon leads the police down a series of side roads and parking lots. But when the chase gets back on the highway, the cops have a nasty surprise for him. A well-placed police spike blows out the truck's tires. And now Sparky here is finding it a little hard to keep control. There's no shortage of cops ready to greet the suspect when he stops.
Put your hands up! Put your hands! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Like the perfect gentleman, he lets his girlfriend go first before he faces the music himself. The vehicle search confirms their suspicions. This guy's been driving around with enough drugs in his truck to keep a small nation tripping for weeks. And not only that, but he's got all the equipment he needs to cook up a whole lot more. This speed freak took the cops for a bunch of dopes. But when he blows his chance for escape, the police take down his 4-wheeled drug factory. At first, this footage appears to be nothing more than a typical traffic report from the eye in the sky. But as we zoom in for a closer look, it becomes obvious that this red pickup has been stolen and is picking up some serious speed.
Tell you what's going on.
In fact, the driver is being held at knife point by a carjacker, which might go at least some way towards explaining why he pulls this psychotic stunt.
Again, he's doing another U-turn, sliding across the roadway. Looks like he may have spun out of control there.
the frightened drivers just flipped his car. Now it's up to the cops to pick up the pieces.
Slide down. We couldn't see him.
They approached the truck with guns drawn, but the suspect isn't in the mood to put up a
Or
fight.
somebody is getting out. We don't know if that, in fact, is the driver crawling out.
The carjacked driver is thankfully unharmed, but with crime-stopping moves like
There he goes
these,
again. He's drinking another.
maybe he should consider a career in law enforcement himself. It looks like someone has been conducting tests on the effectiveness of this divider. Actually, this abandoned vehicle belongs to a man on the run from the cops after getting clocked for speeding. Since the accident, the police are scouring the surrounding area for him. It might seem like this cop is driving randomly round in circles, but he does in fact have a plan. His strategy is ingeniously simple. It involves locating the runaway suspect in a nearby parking lot.
I got him.
And taking him down.
I'm gonna shoot you now.
It appears as though the arresting officer's car door might have played a large part in the takedown. Next on Hot Pursuit, a couple of gang members take the LAPD for a spin, and a truck decides to shake up this routine traffic stop. Wearing a seatbelt at all times is not only safe, it's the law.
Also, by state law, you are required to wear a seatbelt as a front seat passenger or the driver. I am going to issue a citation for failure to wear a seatbelt and give you a defect notice for the front license plate. Stay in the car, don't get out. I'll be back up in a few minutes.
This police officer here is advising her suspect to buckle up every time she gets in the car. And she's right, because you never know where danger might come from next.
I'm not injured. Stand by, I'll find out about the driver.
Both the officer and the guy in the car are thankfully okay. But even though the victim was parked when the crash occurred, this incident demonstrates precisely why it's so important to wear a seatbelt. Because if the driver had buckled up in the first place, then the police wouldn't have pulled him over to the side of the road. And this accident would have never happened.
17870.
In LA, a camera-equipped helicopter captures this Hollywood-style nighttime police chase.
It's unbelievable. Very dangerous, driving on the wrong side of the road. This is a stolen vehicle. And they tried to pull the vehicle over, as so many of these pursuits start this way, and the vehicle just simply took off. There are two occupants in the vehicle. They threw something out of the window on this pursuit.
The pair of guys in this car might have dumped the evidence, but they're not planning on making it easy on the police.
Now these guys are wanted for assault with a deadly weapon. They tried to ram a police vehicle.
It seems as though the criminals are enjoying the chase.
This is almost some sort of game to this guy.
Driving up tree-lined boulevards with a whole fleet of cruisers on their tail. And then turning around and heading back the other way.
We're now being told that these are possibly gang members.
Wherever these hardened gangsters go, the cops follow.
We have been down this road before, and it just appears that he's driving in just one big circle.
The fugitives aren't making it easy on the cops.
Definitely a pursuit like we've never seen before. That was almost Keystone Cops in a way.
And even managed to get behind them for a short time.
And now it almost appeared that that he was chasing the police there.
Obviously pleased with how they frustrated the cops, the gangsters decide to go for a victory lap.
And you can see the passenger now hanging out of the window there. The passenger did get out of the vehicle and made some gesture.
The suspects are clearly having fun at this point, and soon locals begin gathering in the streets to watch.
There's a large crowd outside that store there as he comes eastbound on Broadway.
But the audience is quick to take sides.
We've been through this neighborhood before, and somebody threw something at the vehicle, and there's what it is right there. Looks like a garbage can or something like that.
So when the thugs decide to extend the chase even further,
and we can hear the officer saying, "Do not follow him in circles."
all of a sudden, things take a turn for the worse.
He makes a wrong turn into a dead end there.
With no road left, the fun and games are finally over.
He's running across the freeway. Oh, how dangerous.
The driver is captured, but the other suspect makes a desperate run for it. Time for the police to bring out the big guns. It's safe to say that these cops are probably itching to teach this gangbanger a lesson.
They're ordering him down, lay down on the ground.
But this crook isn't stupid. He makes sure he doesn't aggravate the cops anymore. They drove the cops around in circles and made the crowds go wild. When they drive down the wrong street, their joyride finally comes to an end.